Hello, this is Stacy. So today what I'm going to be talking about is a particular um, American government PowerPoint that I found on SlideShare. Um, this one it actually dealt with the founding of the American government, and this looks at this particular slide looks at English political heritage. And the reason I picked it is because one of the things that the text talked about was using extraneous, I hope I said that right, images, just images for the sake of using them. And if you notice in the bottom right hand corner of this image, of this slide in particular, there's actually a little tiny picture of the Magna Carta, simply because the teacher, or the instructor in this case, referenced the Magna Carta. It's decoration, but it's not adding anything to the particular slide. So if I were to take that out, then the slide would still have all of the information. It's also a lot of words. It's a very wordy slide, which I think might be kind of a bad thing, especially if you're dealing with high school students. I picked the next slide because, once again, you have an image that really serves no purpose. I'm guessing it's sort of an animated version of Shays' Rebellion, but this deals with the Articles of Confederation, and while Shays' Rebellion is mentioned, that image is probably not necessary. One of the things that I noticed with this particular presentation, is that it was 11 slides, which was shorter than some of the other ones, which were like 99 slides, and that's not an exaggeration. But what I noticed was that this one was very heavy in images, and it had pictures at the bottom of each slide, and in the backgrounds there were pictures of Parliament. Pictures of almost everything you could think of. There may have been maybe one or two slides in the entire presentation without pictures, which is very interesting because I know in my classes I tend to do that myself, and now I'm rethinking that strategy. So let me show you how I changed them, these two. So here we have remember the first slide from the original presentation had the picture of the Magna Carta. So what I did was I took out some of the words. So this gives the students an opportunity to sort of discuss the implications of the Magna Carta, and for us to talk about these documents in their context, as opposed to them just reading them on PowerPoint. But I give them a little bit of information about the Magna Carta, and that will lead to a discussion, as well as the English Bill of Rights, which will lead to a discussion. And then at the end of the slide, as opposed to having a picture, what I did was sort of a food for thought question, so that the students could kind of think about how these documents actually influence our government, which is very important because if they don't understand the context of the Magna Carta and the English Bill of Rights, then it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to understand how we ended up with the Constitution that we currently have. And sometimes they think it just fell from the sky. So the next slide, which was about the Articles of Confederation, it's kind of important to know that in the original presentation, there was actually information about political philosophers and the Revolutionary War before they got to the Articles of Confederation. I just happened to pick these two because they sort of stood out to me. What I did with this one, and it might be a little bit wordy and that I need to figure out how to fix, but I did background information about the Articles of Confederation and its provisions, and also what Congress could not do. And once again, to give the students an opportunity to think about how we ended up with the Constitution that we have, getting them to talk about what kind of problems could arise because of the limitations placed on the national government by the Articles of Confederation. On a more personal note, I actually liked working with this particular application, and it sort of gives me an opportunity to see how I can use this in the classroom. But I think that when doing presentations, and I know I'm guilty of this, you try to put a whole bunch of information on one slide, and you try to make it as dynamic and as interesting as possible without thinking about the fact that while you put the picture there, I'm looking at the picture, not really paying attention to the information. So hopefully I did this correctly. Thank you for your time and have a great day.